before this story begins, pause for a moment and look at your life. There were nights you cried alone, days you walked with a broken heart, moments when the people you trusted the most became the very ones who tried to crush your spirit. Some wanted to see you fail, some wanted to see you fall, some wanted to see you disappear completely. But here is the truth nobody told you. Their intention never had the power to shape your destiny. You survived things that were designed to destroy you. You rose from wounds they thought would finish you. You kept walking through storms they hoped would drown you. And Ibn Arabi teaches something extraordinary, that when the world turns against you, it is not a sign of your weakness, it is a sign of your selection. Because Allah does not let His chosen ones fall into the hands of those who wish them harm. When they planned your destruction, Allah planned your elevation. When they tried to bury you, Allah planted you. When they wanted you dead, Allah wanted you stronger. This is not a story of survival. This is a story of divine protection, a story of a believer who walked alone in darkness, yet was never truly alone. A story that proves every betrayal, every wound, every lonely night was part of a plan greater than anything your enemies could imagine. So listen closely, because what you are about to hear may just explain your entire life. Ibn Arabi teaches that in this world, people will always have opinions, judgments, assumptions, and intentions toward you, some good, some poisonous, and some so dark that they hope for your downfall. But he reminds us of a universal truth. Their intentions are powerless in the presence of Allah's decree. You may have experienced moments where people envied your growth, feared your potential, or simply disliked you for reasons you could not understand. You may have felt a target on your back, created not by your actions, but by the light Allah placed within you, a light they could not control and did not want to face. Ibn Arabi says that the hearts of people reveal more about themselves than about those they judge. Their hatred is a reflection of their own spiritual poverty, not your worth. He writes that human beings imagine they have the power to harm, but in reality, they can only act within the limits Allah allows. If they whisper against you, Allah hears them before you do. If they plot against you, Allah dismantles their plan before it reaches you. If they hope for your destruction, it is only because they see a strength in you they cannot match. But here is the deeper truth Ibn Arabi reveals. Allah allows their intentions to appear not so you fear them, but so you recognize His protection. How would you ever know Allah shielded you unless you witnessed an arrow meant for you miss its target? How would you ever grow in trust unless you faced people who wanted to break you, yet still could not touch you? Their intentions are a test, not a threat. A mirror, not a destiny. A temporary noise, not an eternal truth. When they tried to humiliate you, Allah used their attempt to elevate you. When they closed doors on you, Allah opened better ones they could not block. When they pushed you into isolation, Allah was drawing you closer to Him. Ibn Arabi says that every person who underestimates you is a tool in your spiritual training. Their arrogance forces your humility, their hostility sharpens your resilience, their betrayal purifies your reliance on Allah. So, understand this. If people had the ability to destroy you, you would not be alive right now. The only reason you survived every attack, physical, emotional, spiritual, is because Allah wrote survival into your destiny long before they wrote envy into their hearts. Their intentions may be loud, but Allah's decree is absolute. They saw an ending for you, but Allah saw a beginning. They saw weakness, but Allah saw transformation. They saw your downfall, but Allah saw your rise. Your destiny was never in their hands. It was and will always remain in the hands of the one who created you. Ibn Arabi teaches that one of the greatest forms of divine mercy is concealment, a type of protection we rarely recognize and often misinterpret as abandonment. We think Allah has pushed us into the background, but in truth, He has pulled us into safety. We think a delay is a punishment, but it is actually a shield. And we think silence means Allah is distant, when, in reality, He is closest during the moments when the world can't see us. There were times in your life when you felt invisible, forgotten, overlooked. People advanced while you stayed still. Opportunities opened for others, but remained shut for you. You prayed for growth, for change, for recognition, and instead, life grew quiet. Doors closed, support disappeared, and you wondered, why is nothing moving for me? Ibn Arabi explains that this is a spiritual stage known as divine concealment, al-ikhfa. It is the moment when Allah places you behind a veil not to halt your destiny, but to prepare your heart for it. Because if you rise too early, the weight of success may crush you. If you meet the wrong people too soon, their intentions may harm you. If you receive blessings before you are spiritually mature, those blessings could turn into tests greater than any trial you've faced. Allah hides you because He loves you. Sometimes He conceals you from the eyes of jealous people who would sabotage your growth. Sometimes He holds you back because the path ahead is not yet safe. Sometimes He keeps you unknown because fame would corrupt the sincerity of your intentions. Sometimes He delays you because the version of you who prayed for the blessing is not the version who can handle it. Your concealment was protection, not rejection. Think back to the moments you felt stuck. Those were the moments Allah was cleaning your heart, polishing your patience, deepening your trust, and strengthening your spiritual foundation. He was shaping you quietly, far from the noise of the world, the opinions of people, and the envy hidden in their hearts. Ibn Arabi teaches that hidden stages are where the soul becomes real. It is behind the veil where sincerity forms, where faith becomes unshakable, where the believer learns to trust Allah more than timing, more than opportunity, more than people. And when Allah finally decides you are ready, He lifts the veil in a single moment, and doors that were locked for years open without effort. The people who once ignored you suddenly recognize your value. The opportunities that slipped away now return with ease. Your rise becomes undeniable, unstoppable, unmistakably divine. So do not resent the seasons when Allah hides you. Those were the seasons He was protecting you from what you could not see. Those were the seasons He was preparing you for what you were meant to become. Understand this deeply. When Allah kept you unseen, He was keeping you safe. When Allah delayed you, He was developing you. When Allah hid you, He was healing you. And when the time is right, He Himself will reveal you stronger, wiser, and unshakable. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. Ibn Arabi teaches that nothing attracts hostility more than divine favor. If you were insignificant, no one would try to break you. If your presence carried no light, no one would attempt to dim it. If your destiny were small, no one would fear it. The very fact that you were attacked emotionally, socially, spiritually, is proof that you carry something powerful inside you, something that threatens the insecurity, envy, and spiritual blindness of others. Ibn Arabi explains that when Allah places a unique light in someone's heart, that light exposes the darkness in others. And people respond to that exposure in two ways, with admiration or with jealousy. They mocked you, they rejected you, they lied about you, they competed with you, they tried to bury you with words, actions, silence, betrayal, anything they could find. But here is the truth Ibn Arabi reveals. Their attacks did not reflect your weakness, they reflected your worth. People do not throw stones at trees with no fruit. Enemies do not waste time on hearts with no potential, and no one plots against someone who poses no threat. Their behavior was a mirror showing you the depth of what Allah placed within you long before you were aware of it yourself. Some people envied your resilience. Some feared your clarity. Some were intimidated by your sincerity. And some simply could not stand that Allah had written a story for you that exceeded their imagination. Ibn Arabi says that envy, hasad, appears when someone sees a blessing in you that they wish belonged to them. Most of the time, you didn't even realize you had those blessings, but they did. They saw your inner strength. They saw your spiritual depth. They saw the potential Allah placed within you, and it unsettled them. This is why their attacks always came at turning points in your life, moments when Allah was preparing to elevate you. They sensed a shift even before you did. They felt a rise coming, and they tried to interfere. But Ibn Arabi reminds us, no human being can stop what Allah has decreed. Their hatred sharpened you, their doubt pushed you, their rejection redirected you, their betrayal purified you. Every attack became a tool in Allah's hand to build you. Had they supported you, you would have remained dependent on them. Had they encouraged you, you would have stayed small to keep them comfortable. Had they accepted you, you may have never discovered who you truly are. Instead, their hostility forced your transformation. Your skin became thicker, your heart became wiser, your reliance shifted from people to Allah, and your path became clearer than ever before. Ibn Arabi teaches that those who tried to harm you were actually fulfilling their role in your spiritual unfolding. Their negativity was meant to awaken your strength. Their envy was meant to reveal your value. Their plots were meant to show you Allah's protection. So the next time you remember what they did to you, the lies, the judgment, the jealousy, do not feel sorrow. Feel clarity. They never attacked you because you were weak. They attacked you because your destiny terrified them. And even in the middle of those attacks, Allah was protecting you in ways you still don't fully understand. He allowed their actions, but He did not allow their victory, because your worth was written long before their opinions were formed. Ibn Arabi teaches that nothing transforms the heart more profoundly than betrayal, not because betrayal breaks you, but because it wakes you. It forces you to see what was hidden, question what you trusted, and rise above what was never meant for you. He writes that Allah often hides elevation inside the very wound that felt like it would destroy you. You see, betrayal feels like death at first, a death of trust, a death of innocence, a death of who you thought someone was. But in reality, betrayal is a birth, the beginning of a higher version of yourself that could never exist without being torn away from illusions. Ibn Arabi says that Allah uses betrayal to sever you from what you cling to more than Him. And He does it with precision. He does not remove what you love to punish you. He removes what you rely on, so He can replace it with something stronger, purer, and aligned with your destiny. Most people misunderstand this. They think betrayal is a sign of weakness. Why was I chosen for this pain? But Ibn Arabi reveals a deeper truth. You were chosen because your heart is worthy of transformation. Allah sees your future. Allah sees your potential. Allah sees the strength, wisdom, and spiritual depth that betrayal would unlock inside you. Consider this. The people who betrayed you were not in control. Their act was simply a trigger, a divine signal that this chapter of your life was complete. When someone's role in your destiny ends, Allah allows them to reveal their true selves so that you can let go of them without guilt. You didn't lose them. You were released from them. Ibn Arabi explains that betrayal breaks the comforting illusions you built around people, illusions that they would protect you, support you, understand you, or walk with you forever. But Allah does not allow illusions to survive in the heart of someone He wants to elevate. Sometimes Allah lets someone betray you so you learn. Not everyone you love deserves access to your heart. Not every promise is meant to be kept. Not every hand you reach for is worthy of holding yours. Betrayal removes the wrong people from your path so the right destiny can enter. And look closely at what betrayal did to you. It purified your reliance. It strengthened your boundaries. It sharpened your intuition. It taught you how to stand alone without collapsing. It revealed who you really are when everything familiar falls away. But the greatest secret Ibn Arabi shares is this: the one who betrays you becomes the instrument of your elevation. Think about that. The people who hurt you thought they were ending something, but Allah used their action to begin something far greater, a transformation they never expected and could never stop. Their betrayal forced you onto a higher path. Their absence forced you to stand on your own feet. Their disloyalty pushed you closer to Allah. You became stronger because they were weak. You became wiser because they were deceptive. You became purer because their hearts were tainted. Every tear shaped you. Every heartbreak humbled you. Every disappointment redirected you. If you look back honestly, you will realize their betrayal didn't break you. It broke the version of you that would have limited your destiny. Ibn Arabi writes that betrayal is a divine unveiling. It is not the betrayal itself that is the lesson, it is what Allah reveals through it. You see people for who they are. You see yourself for who you can become. You see Allah as the only one who remains when everyone else leaves. And that is the true miracle of betrayal. It pushes you toward the one who never betrays, the one who never abandons, the one who never wounds except to heal, the one who removes so He can replace with better. The one who writes a rise so powerful that the ones who hurt you become irrelevant to your story. So understand this. Betrayal was not your downfall. It was your awakening. It was the moment Allah freed you from people, so He could elevate you toward Him. Your rise began the moment their loyalty ended. Ibn Arabi teaches that loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the presence of Allah calling you back to Him. The world interprets loneliness as emptiness. But the people of spiritual insight understand that loneliness is one of the greatest gifts Allah gives to a heart. He wants to purify, strengthen, and elevate. Think about the moments in your life when you felt completely alone. People distanced themselves. Friends disappeared. Family didn't understand you. Your support system crumbled. You sat with your own thoughts in silence that felt heavy and painful. You thought something was wrong with you. You wondered if Allah was angry with you. You questioned why life suddenly pushed you into isolation. But Ibn Arabi reveals a hidden truth. Loneliness is not punishment, it is preparation. Allah removes the voices around you so you can finally hear your own. He removes the people you rely on so you can rely on Him. He removes distractions so He can redirect your heart. And He removes comfort so He can awaken strength within you that you never knew you had. Loneliness is where the real transformation begins. Ibn Arabi writes that Allah isolates the ones He loves because He wants them to know Him in a way that crowded hearts cannot. A heart filled with people cannot fully receive the clarity, wisdom, and spiritual depth that Allah wants to give. So He places you in solitude not to break you, but to rebuild you from the inside. And when you were alone, think of what happened. You faced parts of yourself you had long avoided. You confronted wounds you had buried under busyness. You learned to sit with silence instead of escaping it. You discovered that your strength was far greater than you believed. You realized that the presence of Allah was the only companionship that never left. But here is the most profound lesson Ibn Arabi shares. Loneliness was Allah's invitation for intimacy, the chance to know Him without interference. In your loneliest nights, Allah watched you. In your quiet tears, Allah listened to you. When you whispered prayers no one else heard, Allah answered you. When you had no one to turn to, Allah turned you toward Himself. What you thought was abandonment was actually protection from the wrong people. What you thought was silence was actually Allah clearing the path for revelation. What you thought was emptiness was the clearing of the heart so light could enter. Loneliness reshapes you. It breaks the old version of you, the one attached to people, validation, noise, ego, and births a new version rooted in divine connection. You walk differently after loneliness. You trust differently. You see the world differently. You value sincerity over attention, peace over popularity, truth over illusion. Most importantly, you recognize that the one who stayed with you in solitude is the only one truly worthy of your heart. So understand this. Your loneliness was never a sign that you were forgotten. It was proof that Allah chose you for a deeper conversation. You weren't isolated. You were being elevated. You weren't abandoned. You were being realigned. You weren't alone. You were being held by the one who has always been with you. Ibn Arabi teaches that nothing in your life, not a single heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, or loss was random. Every painful moment was a tool in Allah's hand, carving you into the believer you were always meant to become. He explains that the soul cannot rise without pressure, nor can the heart expand without being stretched by hardship. Pain, in the language of the spiritual masters, is not an enemy. It is a sculptor, a force that shapes, chisels, refines, and reveals. And the believer who walks through pain with trust emerges as an entirely new being. Think back to the moments in your life that hurt the most, the people who lied to you, the opportunities that slipped away, the relationships that shattered, the humiliations you endured, the nights you cried into a pillow until your chest ached. In those moments, you felt weak, overwhelmed, broken. But Ibn Arabi says something astonishing. You were not breaking, you were being rebuilt. He explains that pain is a divine surgery. Allah cuts away what does not serve your soul, removes what harms you spiritually, and empties your heart of attachments that block your closeness to Him. Without hardship, your heart would remain dull. Without loss, your humility would never deepen. Without betrayal, you would never know who truly stands with you. Without loneliness, you would never experience intimate reliance upon Allah. Pain is not chaos. Pain is precision. Consider this. If Allah had answered every dua instantly, if every person had been loyal, if every moment had been soft and easy, you would have never discovered your inner strength. You would have remained dependent, fragile, shallow, tied to dunya, tied to people, tied to an identity far smaller than what Allah intended for you. But Allah chose you for expansion, and expansion is always uncomfortable. Ibn Arabi teaches that every hardship carries a hidden divine wisdom called al-tajalli, a spiritual unveiling. Through it, Allah reveals two profound things: what you need to let go of, who you are becoming. Look at your life closely. The friendships that collapsed showed you how to choose sincerity over convenience. The failures that embarrassed you taught you humility and refinement. The betrayals that shattered your heart freed you from depending on the wrong people. The closed doors redirected you toward the destiny written exclusively for you. Pain forced you to grow into someone your comfort zone would never have allowed. Ibn Arabi says, "The wound is the place where the light enters." Your wounds did not weaken you. They purified you. They softened the parts of you that needed compassion and hardened the parts of you that needed resilience. The pain that once made you question your worth eventually made you discover it. The heartbreak that made you collapse eventually made you stand taller. The weakness that made you feel small eventually became the reason you learned to rely on Allah with your entire being. Every trial, every tear, every sleepless night, all of it was divine training. Your spirit became stronger. Your passions became deeper. Your understanding became sharper. Your faith became unshakable. And this is the miracle hidden in hardship. The same events that were designed to break you became the events that built you into someone unbreakable. People thought you were falling apart, but in truth, Allah was constructing a new version of you. A version with clarity, strength, maturity, insight, and spiritual grounding that could never have been achieved without walking through fire. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah tests those He loves, not because He wants them to suffer, but because He sees who they can become, and He refuses to let them remain less than that. Your pain elevated you. Your trials awakened you. Your hardships matured you. Your loss purified you. Everything that was meant to destroy you became part of the divine blueprint that strengthened your soul. So now when you look back, understand this. What was meant to break you did not break you, because Allah was strengthening you through every second of it. And the believer who walks out of hardship with faith intact walks out as someone this world can no longer shake. Ibn Arabi teaches that the greatest illusion human beings fall into is believing they understand their own story while it is still unfolding. We see only fragments, isolated moments of joy, pain, loss, betrayal, confusion, and we assume they are disconnected. But Allah sees the entire tapestry, woven with precision, intention, and divine timing. You saw heartache. Allah saw purification. You saw a closed door. Allah saw a better path. You saw betrayal. Allah saw the removal of those unworthy of your destiny. You saw loss. Allah saw the emptying of your hands so He could place something better in them. The entire time you were questioning, hurting, doubting, breaking, Allah was building, crafting, arranging, and orchestrating everything in your favor. Ibn Arabi explains that every event in your life, even the ones that wounded you, is part of a divine choreography, a movement of the soul toward its true purpose. Nothing is random, nothing is accidental, nothing slips into your life without a reason written before your creation. Think of your most painful memories, the tears you cried alone, the betrayals you did not expect, the rejection that humiliated you, the moments when you fell to your knees and asked, "Why me, Ya Allah?" At that time, all you could see was the wound, but Allah saw the wisdom underneath it. He allowed certain people to leave your life, not because they won, but because they could not follow you into the next chapter. Their presence was a barrier to the future Allah had planned for you. Their character could not withstand the blessings Allah wanted to pour upon you. Their hearts were not aligned with your growth. So He removed them, not as a punishment, but as a preparation. Ibn Arabi teaches that human beings cling to what is familiar, even when it harms them. So Allah, in His mercy, breaks your grip. He takes away what you would never release on your own. He reshapes your heart through loss until you are ready to receive something greater. He does not delay blessings. He delays you until you become someone worthy of carrying them. And what about the times you felt delayed, stuck, paused while life moved forward for others? You saw stagnation. Allah saw protection. He kept you in place because the road ahead was not yet safe. He hid you because enemies were watching. He slowed your path so your heart could grow into the strength required for the next stage. Allah's timing is not human timing. Humans rush. Humans panic. Humans fear missing out. But Allah says, "Be still. I am writing something perfectly for you." And He was. Ibn Arabi says that one of the highest levels of faith is realizing that everything that happened, every heartbreak, every setback, every disappointment, was Allah positioning you. Your pain was a compass pointing toward your destiny. Think deeply now. If the people who hurt you had stayed, would you have grown? If the doors that closed had opened, would you have settled for less? If the heartbreak never happened, would you have turned back to Allah? If the loneliness never arrived, would your faith have deepened? You faced the storm thinking it was destruction, but Allah used it as transportation, a vessel to carry you to a new shore. Nothing in your story was for nothing. Not the tears, not the silence, not the confusion, not the setbacks, not the losses, not the betrayals. Every moment carried meaning. Every hardship carried a lesson. Every delay carried mercy. Every ending carried a beginning in disguise. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah's plan is always unfolding even when you cannot see it. The events that felt like punishment were actually protection. The delays that frustrated you were actually divine arrangements. The heartbreaks that shattered you were actually spiritual surgeries, removing what could not remain in the next chapter of your life. And the greatest sign that Allah's plan was working the entire time is that you survived. You rose. You grew. You awakened. You saw truths you once ignored. You discovered strength you didn't know you had. You found Allah in ways you never had before. Your entire journey, the pain, the blessings, the confusion, the clarity, was the unfolding of a story written by the most merciful, the most wise, the one who never stops planning good for His servant. So now, when you look back at your life, say this with conviction: nothing went wrong. Everything went exactly as Allah planned. Because while they plotted against you, while they doubted you, while they wanted your downfall, Allah was writing your rise. They wanted you dead, but Allah wanted you stronger, wiser, purer, and unstoppable. His plan was working the whole time. And now that you've heard these lessons, look at your life again, but look with new eyes. Every betrayal you survived, every heartbreak you endured, every moment you collapsed in silence, they were not signs that Allah abandoned you. They were signs that Allah was building you. You were not weak. You were being reshaped. You were not forgotten. You were being chosen. You were not destroyed. You were being transformed. The people who plotted against you, the ones who tried to dim your light, the ones who hoped to see you fall, they were never the authors of your story. They were only characters written to teach you who you are without them and who you become with Allah. Ibn Arabi reminds us, when the world closes its doors, Allah opens a path no one can block. And that is your story. You did not survive by accident. You survived because Allah decreed your rise long before they planned your fall. So walk forward now with strength. Walk forward with certainty. Walk forward knowing that every step you take is guided, protected, and watched by the one who never leaves your side. And if this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. There is someone out there right now who feels broken, alone, betrayed, someone who needs to hear that Allah is still writing their victory. Like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more reminders from the Iman chapter, where we tell the stories that heal hearts and awaken souls. Remember this: they wanted you gone, they wanted you weak, they wanted you buried, but Allah wanted you stronger, and Allah's plan is always greater.